Why is fuel so expensive, thereby driving billions into poverty as the rich get obscenely rich and families can't eat? This thread explains a system that supports a permanent underclass and that of the wealth of fossil fuel companies. Fuel is a key cause of all inflation. The UK's fuel prices are astonishing. There are only 10 countries in the world with more expensive prices. 154 are cheaper, including the top 4 which have been targets of the West for some time: Venezuela, Syria, Libya and Iran. It's down to the cost of the oil, really. Someone, somewhere is filling their boots. From its low price of $59 in March 2020, Chevron's share price soared to $178. These are companies where we are using less and less of their products. Demand and the price should be plummeting. Demand? In 2021, electric vehicles made up 18.5% of all newly registered cars. There are now over 790,000 plug-in hybrids and 477,000 electric vehicles in the UK. That has to have had a large impact on demand, you would have thought. A report by REN21 concluded that 112 nations actually subsidize fossil prices. At REN21 provides a forum for international leadership on renewable energy. The UK is not part of it. Consider that. In 2017, the UK announced it would be allocating no subsidies to green power projects until 2025 at the latest. In 2019, when we should be transitioning from fossil fuels, coal, oil and gas, we're receiving more than $370 billion, £305 billion per year in support. Redirecting less than 30% of those subsidies to green energy and renewables would pay for the global transition to green energy, something the fossil fuel companies may not want. It would provide 85 million jobs and just 4 million jobs would be lost moving away from dirty fuels. The UK government takes 29% of the fuel price in fuel duty. VAT is charged at 20% on top of that. So, around £46 of a 55-litre fuel tank goes to the UK in taxes. The cause? A report on lobbying from an anti-corruption group was astonishing. Just 4% of lobbyists are covered by the UK's register. 8/10 of the frequent lobbyists are from the large FTSE companies. 73 MPs received £3.4 million last year for external roles. Lobbyists are quietly running parliamentary groups on energy and climate policy. The UK Petroleum Industry Association is playing a key role in the running of the All-Party Parliamentary Group. Trade associations which receive substantial funding from the large energy companies also provide public relations and admin support to MPs. Some of the MPs in the group are those blocking windfall taxes and asking for more investment in the fossil fuel sector. Make sense? More than 500 lobbyists with key links to oil and gas attended the COP26 conference in Glasgow. It's just plain nuts. In the US, the American Petroleum Institute, API, receives vast sums of money from energy companies. One of API's previously hired professional lobbyists was forced to resign from the Council of Environmental Quality. The reason for his resignation? Tampering with climate assessments to downplay scientific evidence of global heating and to create doubts about the climate. He was soon after hired by an energy company. With the goal of making climate change a non-issue, the API put together a multi-million-pound disinformation campaign. Be careful on what you are reading on social media. Each year, the world's 5 largest publicly owned oil and gas companies give $200 million on lobbying, designed to control, delay, or block binding climate-motivated policy. The API is now fighting multiple lawsuits. The Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison, accuses the group of working alongside ExxonMobil and Koch Industries to lie about the scale of the climate crisis, providing climate disinformation. API and its financial backers founded a front organization, the amazingly named Global Climate Coalition. Purpose: produce evidence that the climate crisis is a hoax. Undercover agents filmed an Exxon director. Did we aggressively fight against some of the science? Yes, he said. Did we join some of these shadow groups to work against some of the early efforts? Yes, that's true. But there's nothing illegal about that. We were looking out for our investments, we were looking out for shareholders. That's our mess summed up in a tweet. As long as shareholders are okay, nothing matters. The lobbyist described some Republican senators as a captive audience, because they are reliant on industry backing. The Republicans, we have the great relationship with the senators, where we have assets, he said. There are all these opportunities that you use. API's goal. Continue to extract oil and gas for as long as possible, and make as much money as possible. Last week Joe Biden's efforts to enforce environmental regulation in the world's second most polluting country were halted by the self-appointed far-right Supreme Court. The same court that overturned abortion laws. The same court that Trump appointed 3 members to. Biden also told fuel companies to lower prices seeing as oil had fallen. Capitalist champion Bezos disagreed. It's changing. The French oil company Total quit API earlier this year over its climate policies. Top clean energy executives at Shell quit in December over the pace of change by the company. We are supposed to live in a democracy that supports society and isn't funded and controlled by a small number of wealthy sociopaths. Ban lobbying and remember that when you are next voting.